July 16th, 2024, a 911 call was made by the local resident that has witnessed a kidnapping.
911, what is your emergency?
I think I just saw a kid get dragged into a car.
Where is this taking place?
It's...
Do you know who did it, sir?
No. They were wearing all black and the face was covered. They were driving a black BMW with a broken window on the left side.
Have you gotten the plate, sir?
Yes, the plate was W48605H.
Which direction were they heading?
Yeah, they went west down the road.
Detective Ronald Wood was assigned to this case, but not just this case, but every recent case involving child kidnapping. Detective Ronald Woods has over 25 years experience as a detective for the East Tacoma Police Department. He is the perfect man for this job. For the past 3 months, there has been an uptick in kidnappings in the East Tacoma area. Over 19 cases have been left unsolved, however, that was all about to change. The vehicle that was used in the kidnapping was found abandoned in Clover Creek area. After investigating the area, it was clear that the vehicle was left here in a hurry. In the vehicle, detectives found a knife as well as some zip ties. This similar pattern can be observed in other vehicles. It is also important to mention that almost all abandoned vehicles found in this area were involved in a kidnapping case. Unfortunately, no fingerprints could be recovered from any of the vehicles or objects. However, Detective Woods found an interesting pattern that would suggest all these vehicles were most likely stolen and used by the same entity. First of all of the vehicles have the same point of entry, that being the driver's side window. Second of all of the vehicles were in some state of disrepair, indicating that the vehicles were strategically chosen this way as the owner of the vehicle is less likely to report a vehicle stolen that they do not take care of. Third of all of the vehicles were left in this general region, indicating that the victims were most likely loaded into a different vehicle after the initial kidnapping attempt. And finally, every single vehicle had 1 to 3 cases attached to them. The possibility of all of these things being a coincidence is nearly impossible. From this point on, there was no further evidence that could suggest who was responsible for the recent cases. With no further evidence coming out, this has completely put an end to the investigation. That was until Detective Woods found something interesting in one of the photographs that were taken as evidence by the police department. Right across from where one of the vehicles was left, there was a house with a security camera. This security camera may have contained evidence that could further this case. Thankfully, the homeowner cooperated with the detectives and offered their CCTV footage. In the footage, we can see a black BMW pulled into the position where it was later found abandoned. About 45 seconds later, a white Toyota van pulled up next to the BMW. Later, we can see 2 of the men who look similar to the men that were seen in other video recordings, as well as this man who was never seen before. Later, they push one of the kidnapped victims into the van, and then they drive off. Due to the low quality of the footage, it's impossible to make out any of their faces or the license plate. However, something that caught the attention of the detectives was the logo on the van. It was impossible to make out the logo, however, after looking through the logos of local businesses in the Tacoma area, detectives found the logo of the Smith & Dale handyman business. If we simply compare their logo to the logo in the recording, they look extremely similar. However, their suspicions were confirmed when they found this picture on the company's website. After further examination of the website, it was discovered that the website has no real function and is simply a front for money laundering. In addition to that, the man in this photo was discovered to be a photo model, so he was immediately written off as a suspect. However, something that was discovered on the website was a mailing address. Unfortunately, it wasn't that easy since when you look up the address, it brings you to a P.O. box in this building. However, people tend to get a P.O. box somewhere near where they live, so the surrounding area of the post office was searched. The van was found outside of this property. An undercover officer was assigned to watch the activity in the building, and the very same day the officer was assigned to watch this building, this man was spotted outside of the property. This man was also seen in the CCTV footage as the driver of the white van. Finally, the police have enough evidence to raid the property and finally put an end to the recent surge in kidnapping cases. The plan is quite simple. The building is a simple 2-floor family residential home constructed in 1998. The building will feature 2 main points of entry, that being the front and back door. Since the suspects have a high chance of being armed, as suggested by the prior evidence, raiding this property will be a difficult task. There will be 4 teams in total that will be partaking in this raid. The first team will enter through the front door, while the second team will be in charge of watching the back door, as well as infiltrating the garage building on the property. Finally, the last 2 teams will be sniper teams that will be facing the front and the back side of the building. The objective of the mission will be to recover all victims, apprehend all suspects, and collect any evidence that could help in sentencing the criminals.
They know we're here. We're going to enter from the left. We're gonna need to breach the door.
Yes, sir.
Drop your weapon!
Drop the gun now!
Ah, damn. I'm bleeding, man.
Should have dropped the gun when we told you to.
Dispatch, can you get an EMS on scene?
Alright, the backyard is clear. We have to clear the garage as well.
Yeah, no way we're getting through that door.
Yeah, they are in here.
Let's try the garage door.
The hell is this?
It's barricaded from the inside.
I have an idea. Dispatch, requesting permission to use explosives on the armor door.
Get on the ground!
Leave it, we have to keep moving.
Let's get them out of here.
Drop your gun!
Don't take another step, or he is leaving in the body bag.
This is not going to end the way you want it to end.
Dispatch, requesting a negotiator. We have a hostage situation in progress.
Negative. There are no negotiators available at the moment. You'll have to resolve this on your own.
State your demands.
I want a car, and I want you all to leave me alone. When I go far enough, I will drop him off in the first town I come across.
Second floor rightmost window, you have a clear shot on him.
Dispatch, requesting permission to fire. I have a clear shot on the suspect.
Can you be certain that the hostage won't be injured?
I am certain that I can clear the hostage. I can get the suspect in the arm.
Fire at will. Please be careful.
Stay down! Roll on your stomach and put your hands on your head. Don't reach for the gun! Dispatch, suspect down. Get the kid out of here.
Hello? Give me 20 minutes and I'll be there.
This is one of the more gruesome scenes that Detective Woods had witnessed. Now at the scene, there were plenty of evidence to take a look at. However, the most important pieces of evidence were the reinforced armor door to the garage and the makeshift surgery room. The reinforced armor door had a total of 5 locks on the outside of the door, no handles on the inside. This clearly shows that the door was intended to act as a vault or a cage for the unfortunate enough to be kept in it. Moving on to the surgery room, the walls have been covered in metal sheets attached to the wall intended to act as insulator and keep the room cold. This would be done in order to keep the organs cooled and refrigerated for later transportation. A lot of the DNA in the organs that were recovered matched with the bodies that were buried in the hole. And to finally put an end to the investigation, detectives would need to interview the suspects and extort as much information from them as possible. Here's how the interrogations played out. This is Stefan Lakatos. He's a 42-year-old man and an undocumented Romanian immigrant. The detective's goal for this interrogation is to figure out why did they do what they did and where the product was going. This interrogation went on for 27 hours.
How did you select your victims?
I'm not telling you anything.
Look man, your partner's already told us everything. We have enough information from him to sentence you for a real long time. Now, you can either continue to resist, or you can help us out. And if you do, I'll see what I can do on my part. Okay?
Police are allowed to use lies as an interrogation strategy. Clearly, this man won't be getting any favors from Detective Woods. After about 7 hours of convincing, he eventually gives up and tells the police everything. I would follow the path that the kids would walk from school. The ones that walked far home and secluded areas were the best targets.
Why'd you do the things that you did?
Money.
After the organs were harvested, where and how would you transport them?
I rented a refrigerated trailer every time I needed to deliver a shipment. I would take them to a place over in Oregon where they would be loaded on a ship.
Where would it go after that?
Romania.
Who in Romania is purchasing it?
He liked being anonymous. I don't even know what he looked like. All of them. This is Victor Albu. He's a 28-year-old man, and similar to Stefan, he is an illegal alien from Romania. Victor was a lot more open when talking to detectives. A lot of what Victor said aligned with the evidence, so a lot of what he's saying is true.
Did you have a job or occupation while you were living in Romania?
I work in a morgue in a small village back home.
So how did you meet Stefan?
I met him at a food bank. He gave me his phone number on a piece of paper, telling me to call him if I needed money.
Exactly how much money did you make while working for him?
A lot. I think I made $200K a year. And in total, I made around $850,000.
Did you ever think that what you were doing was wrong?
Yes.
Then why did you not stop?
I wanted to leave the American dream.
You were seen on a CCTV camera participating in the kidnapping. How far was the extent of your involvement?
I was mainly the driver. Never really chased after anybody.
A lot of the footage has been cut out, as in total it makes up 54 hours of footage. Detectives got everything that they needed from the suspects, including a confession to almost everything that they have done. In the end, Stefan Lactos was given 2 life sentences and 487 years in prison without the possibility of parole. On the other hand, Victor Albu was only given 40 years imprisonment without the possibility of parole. After his release from prison, he will be deported back to Romania. Stefan Lactos was killed in prison 3 days after his arrival by 3 inmates at the prison. Later, the case was handed over to the FBI, as this case by this point was found to be international. This truly was one of the more horrific cases in Washington's history, but at least it was all over.